Yeah, well, the National Assembly convey and table the issue of Gala, as a major issue, as a concern that should be addressed. Some members of Gala were present, to listen to the deliberation, and in fact, it was proposed that there should be, a serious tax comprising of people within the National Assembly to constitute a commission or a committee that will look into the findings of the Jane Commission. Yes, that one could say led to the last protest, but key among the issues that led to the last protest was not that issue, to be precise, because already there is a set committee that is looking into the Jana Commission. But also there were a series of reports from the National Audit Office and from the National Assembly Select Committee on Public Finance that reveal certain misappropriation, certain mismanagement, and fraudulent activities done by some civil servants and some institutions. So Gala deemed it necessary that, yes, regardless of being named as Gambians against looted assets of the ex-president, their mandate or their role should not be limited to that. They should look into other issues, like the issues of the Russian oil, the issues of the ports, some people who were allegedly, involved in some crop practices. GFF also had some resources that they should put into building some mini stadiums and others, as well as rehabilitating the FIFA Goal project, that they believe were not done rightly. And demanding answers to this were key why the last protest was staged. But the last one could say, was a success because the police granted them permit and the turnout was very, very good.
Very good. Now the last one, what I was saying is that the last ones where the demands met so far. Well, what is the status on that? Has there been any progress, or have those demands been met? And if
Well,
so,
mhm.
at what capacity?
Yeah, well, I don't know the content of every letter that was dispatched, but one could say that the first milestone of the purpose of their protest was met. That is, serving petition letters to various institutions that they have listed, among which there are some councils, I believe Banjul City Council, KM, as well as the JFF, um, the President's Office as well, believe that the National Audit Report, as well as other reports of the National Assembly that were sent to the President, should really be honored and immediate action should be taken. But we haven't had any response from these institutions and individuals yet.
Okay, because like it's good to have all these demands and come out in numbers, showcase, this the concern of citizens. But if there is no track record to see how much progress has been made and what are the tangible results that could be measured to see, efficiency and effectiveness is applied, it would be really it would be like a worthless effort. It would be just like making like making the youth look like heroic, but at the same time nothing getting accomplished. So I think we should have a task force that should be evaluating what are some of the progress made in each area, each list of demands. Yeah, moving forward, because and you have to share this with the Gambian public to see that this particular organization is serious. They're not just there to make noise, just to be seen or to be credited for something that they like is really not really making any progress.
That's quite right, Mr. Sawane. I mean, following these points, In fact, some people believe that Gala should not have come out in the last protest without getting the integrities of the National Assembly Select Committee on this Janet Commission. Because strategies and policy will demand that it will be essential to have essential, tangible result from every action that is taken. And piling up issues, piling up actions together may result to distraction from having specific direction. Um, as it is believed that the Janneh Commission, the amount of money that's been mismanaged or put into personal uses could amount to more than $1 billion. So many believe that Gala should have waited and keenly follow all the proceedings of the National Select Committee. In fact, put down all the necessary areas that people that have been invited for question are putting up, to have a tangible report that they can bank on, not just the report that will come from the National Assembly Select
Exactly.
Committee at the end of all these sittings. Because keenly, if they follow every proceedings, every sitting, they'll be able to jot down, strategically know what is being said, and at the end of the day, if the National Assembly report somehow deviate from those realities, they can put them to account.
Exactly.
So that is the stance of many people, that this one should not have been at this material time, but they should have waited until the final report of the select committee is released.
Exactly. And this is to before I let my co-host come, this is to show that in as much as the government don't know, I mean, don't have priority or strategic approach to things, our citizens could have been also following the same pathway. If you don't, like if you don't do it differently, and and then deal with, because a bunch of list of things were listed in that list of demands, and then if that has just been circumnavigating around these things and nothing showing progress, then that means and selling that information to the general public, then that means the efforts are just being making noise for whatever reason, and then at the end of the day we are back to square one. Yeah, yeah. So I think
Absolutely.
your team need to really really look at that. And yeah, it's good to come out, but that could be just too much of piling, piling, issues over. Barrow's government has so much to talk about, but if we can have certain folks focusing on that and engaging with the lawmakers to making sure, especially National Assembly, to making sure that they are on their toes on each and every issues and having the tangible data to share, that would be helpful. And then lastly, before I let Sam and Usman comes, how are you guys funded in terms of like having to go and do this work? Because I know nothing in this world is for free, and if you have to like leave people to go to the National Assembly, talk with these lawmakers. They are doing work of the people. It is volunteer work, I understand, but what is the funding? If you don't mind sharing that with my audience.
Well, I will make a disclaimer that I am not a core member of Gala. Um, I've supported their movement and everything that they are doing, and I'm not an executive member for that matter. So probably that question could be directed to any of their executive if you are able to get them on one of these programs. One thing that I know is individuals um, have been contributing towards Gala, from the first protest to this one, individuals within and outside the country. Probably some of you might have done. I did my part in all the protests that have been taking place. Yeah, in fact, there are some issues that I also have in mind that I believe Gala could work on to improve their legitimacy as well as saving their integrity. Probably we'll come into those by the end of the program.
Very good, very good. And finally, for me, from my side, is that you know, having to have help from outside, and of course internally. Do you think there's a those people are not lobbying for specific things to be achieved, the agenda, especially to be achieved, and they say you put your money where your mouth is. So, do you have a feeling that that might be the case here?
Yeah, not just me, but many people have that feeling that Gala is somehow moving away from the core objective of why they've been formed. Um, from within Gala, you will have observed that the key people who have been taking part in the Gala protest in the first one, some of them have not been seen in the second one. And some of those people left because of their belief that Gala is moving away from the core mandates that they are really, created for. And some also believe that there are certain things that are not going rightly, some sort of conflict of interest among key Gala executive. So we've seen that happening. And some of us have seen that the way they have been approaching some of the issues tend to be more directed to certain way than the general perspective of fighting against corruption and ensuring transparency and accountability. And in the Gambia, we all know that there are various commissions that are going on, regardless of the outcome of the commissions. But there were a series of revelations from all the councils, from Basay Area Council to the Banjul City Council. Series of allegations of corrupt practices, fraudulent activities, and so on and so forth. So if some people among Gala are close people, or say, per
Hmm.
se, let's say, in fact, employees of certain institutions, and they are also coming out to claim that so and so are involved in corrupt practices, forgetting some of the issues that are happening at their own institutions. That is
Yes,
somehow very, very fishy, and it is concerning to some of us. That are we really fighting for general good, or we are targeting certain individuals and institutions as a country?
exactly. Yeah. So this is some of the things that need to be put on in line with the expectation of the general public, and then to give confidence towards this kind of project. Because we've seen that you are a very powerful movement, and then we have really make forced the government to make certain actions, which is very commendable. But at the same time, the integrity of the movement and making sure that it focus on the core values that it was formed is very essential. So I hope that is communicated with the leadership. Um, so I'm gonna let my co-host Sam Sise come in and weigh in the discussion. He's currently driving. I'm pretty sure he has other areas that I haven't covered that he probably would like to ask questions or make comments. And then Usman also is with us. Yeah.
Yes, Dr. Sawane, thank you so very much. My background is not very conducive. That's
Yeah,
why I
because
decided to go otherwise.
you
But
were
I
saying,
wish to thank Mr. Yes, absolutely. I wish to thank Mr. Gago sincerely for taking us through some of the brief understanding and background advancement as far as this particular institution is concerned. Well, moving on, Mr. Gago. Now we realize, or we now witness, the second part of the protest. The first one wasn't successful. The second one, they were granted a protest permit. Now, after the second one, what have you learned? What do you think went very successful, or what do you think should have been done much better as far as this second protest is concerned? Was everything okay as far as this protest is concerned? Have you seen any loopholes, or have you seen any achievement that you think moving on, it will be a good step for the Gala movement? I will come back again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kamara. I would say the last protest was a success. Number one, having successfully staged protests means something that is consolidating our democracy. The government granted, through the police, granted permit, which was commended. And we also saw the presence of the police to ensure that there is order while the protest is taking place, which all word commendation. We've seen scenarios in which civilians and police officers have been cordially and civilly exchanging words. So all these are showing that we are all in this together, and we all have to work together to ensure that the democracy that we all fought for is consolidated and respected. Coming to the areas that I believe need some improvement include the information that is shared. I know it is very, very difficult to control everyone in a protest. Nafa is, I mean, Gala executive cannot even, ensure that everyone will say or do as they wish. But we've seen instances in which people have been using abusive language. We've also seen instances in which a government official was assaulted by some members of the protesters, not from the Gala executive, but some members of the protesters. But we also seen the efforts that were made to stop the person from, moving ahead with the assault. Those are things that should be addressed. Critically, other things that I believe should also be considered is Gala should not just be going out to protest for the sake of going out to protest and serving petitions. As I earlier mentioned, um, they should have a concrete, focused deliverables that they want to achieve, not just to be seen protesting, taking photos. At the end of the day, nothing comes out of them. They won't be considered, as a really a force that one should succumb to. We've seen the impact that's been made in the first protest. The demands, all the demands that they made were met. Remember, the first demand was to release all the detainees. That happened. All the detainees were released. Secondly, there was demand that the list of all those who bought James assets should be released. Whether the list was really a genuine one or not, but we've seen where list of properties and the amount that were sold were released, and also to have investigation into the manner in which the commission, the Janet Commission, um, sold or dealt with the assets and properties of ex-President Jammeh. All were uh, things that were met. So pre-tangible deliverables were met in the first protest. The one that that I believe that Gala should really focus more on at this juncture is the National Assembly Select Committee on Janet Commission. Gala should ensure that they follow every single sitting. There should be a member of Gala who should be present there, physically present. And Gala should also have some sort of not keeping, exercise with key points given by these witnesses should be jotted down. At the end of the day, when the reports of the National Assembly Select Committee is released, they should be able to know whether that really reflect with the findings or with the statements that were given by the various individuals. But now coming up with some sort of more demands, I believe is going to be difficult to track and put up everything as they desire. So there is no need for rush. The National Select Committee, they have a timeline that they should conduct all their activities and report. They have a timeline. I can't remember whether it's 90 days, 3 months. something of that sort, 90 or 120 days, either 3 to 4 months. I can't fully recall either of these two. That's not too long. If you're fighting for corruption, you want to ensure that there is transparency and accountability. Make sure the first one that you started with is done properly and could serve as a yardstick to demand for others. So I believe the last one, although successful, the participation, the number of people coming out, and the petitions were served, those were good part. Permits granted, the police and the civilians relationship was mutual. Those are commendable. But I believe that it is rush. They should not have come out at this material time.
Thank you.